Let's go over to the Packers. The big news out of Green Bay today was that Jordan Love will not be placed on IR. They're hoping he's back between weeks 4 and 6. It's quite fitting that Jordan Love would return for the Viking game as the schedule plays out for them. It's the Vikings and then who they have after that. The Vikings followed by so it's the Titans this weekend. I'm sorry, I'm way off here. The Colts, then the Titans, then the Vikings. Those are the next 3 opponents for the Packers. He'd be set to come back for the Vikings game, the Rams, or the Cardinals between weeks 4 and 6. There's a world where Green Bay is even 2-1. Like the Colts and Titans are 2 opponents that Malik Willis looked really bad has looked really bad in his career so far. But the Titans and Colts are 2 teams that you could potentially escape with the win there. And if Jordan Love comes back in week 4, it's really no sweat.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way they're talking. Like the return is expected between week 4 and 6, but that's just sort of reasoning it out. They're still talking like there's a chance that Jordan Love will play this week. I don't think he will. I think that's very improbable, but that tells you what things are like in the building, right? They expect him to be back soon.
It went as well as it could, basically.
Yeah. I will be honest, I find the Packers quarterback plan puzzling for the following reason. They have said that they're planning on starting Malik Willis until Jordan Love is healthy. What?
Well, that makes you think that he has to be coming back sooner. Because let's say Jordan Love was out 4 weeks, then it's probably worth it to go out and try and get Ryan Tannehill or someone who can be more effective.
Get someone who can play a game.
Unless if Malik Willis behind the scenes has been playing really well, which I can't imagine.
I mean, what did we see at the end of that Eagles game, right? He didn't even get the throw off.
I know. That's what I said before when I was like, he didn't even play well. I went, well, it's one play, but still didn't get the throw off. The Tannehill question is a fun one to talk about because there are a bunch of reports whether or not the Packers have even reached out to Tannehill at this point. And they have about $16 million in cap space right now if they were to make a move. If it's for 1 week or 2 weeks, I don't think you do that. But at some point, Jordan Love were to miss 4 or 5 games, I'm not sure that you can afford to lose all of those. Like there's a certain level of, if you're 0-5 or 0-4, then your season could be done. Like that actually could be the season right there. So this is a really tricky time for Green Bay at the moment because they do have to win a couple of these games. They can't afford to lose out up until Love. I don't think they're good enough I really just don't think they're good enough to run the table when Love gets back.
Yeah, I mean, 0-4, 0-5, that's as bad or worse a record than 2-6. And you saw the kind of run it took from Green Bay in order to barely squeak into the playoffs after that start. Now, Jordan Love may well come back and be very good. I think that's a likely outcome, but to light it up like he did then, that's a huge ask. But again, I mean, I've said this multiple times this offseason. It's weird how this keeps coming up. Malik Willis is not an NFL quarterback. I don't know what he is. If somehow the Packers can make Malik Willis into a functional quarterback, put Tom Clements in the Hall of Fame. Honestly, give him his own wing if he can do that. I do not believe in Malik Willis at all. I don't see how he fits into this offense and what they want to do. But clearly they see something I don't. On the other hand, though, you said they've got the Colts and then they've got the Titans. I will say this, the Packers do not have the Bears offense, right? They cannot, or the Bears defense, excuse me. They cannot handle Malik Willis throwing for 93 yards and count on a special teams play and a defensive touchdown. We saw a bad performance against the Eagles. I think it'll get a little bit better, but I am not expecting the defense to be able to carry this team. They are going to need to see something on offense.
Yeah, and if it's Malik Willis, it's gonna be tough. So you got to hope you get one of them there. And then something that I've kind of been mulling around my head today, and I'm not really sure where I'm coming down on the take, was just from watching Jordan Love against the Eagles. The Packers offense is explosive. They can score from anywhere on the field on any given play. Like that's just part of the product of having Josh Jacobs, the receivers they have. Jordan Love's got a big arm. But I didn't think he was great against Philly by any means. There were a lot of throws. Nakobe Dean had a near pick 6. He just dropped it. Love was he keeps doing this thing where he throws off his back foot. I know he's got talented arm, but there's a couple times where if he just drives it into someone, I think his receiver can catch it and keep running, and he kind of lobs it, throwing into double or triple coverage, where the run that he had last year, the final 10 games, was essentially flawless. Jordan Love really didn't do anything wrong up until the 49ers game with the turnovers. And I'm not trying to sit up here and say that, oh, he's going to fall apart as the season goes on. I'm just saying for the Packers to really, really be a Super Bowl contender, I think that they do need that elite Jordan Love. And now coming off an injury where I don't know what the chances of re-injuring an MCL sprain are, I think it's a little concerning in Green Bay at the moment because you got to win these games without him. And then when he comes back, how good is the team going to be? Are they going to be able to win these games against the Texans, the 49ers, without Love being awesome? And I didn't think he was awesome against Philadelphia.
No, I mean, the thing that you need to see from Jordan Love and the Packers offense as a whole is more consistency.
Yeah.
Right. During that great last 8-game run and last year, Jordan Love completed 70% of his passes. In this game, he completed 50%. You can look at success rate. Jordan Love's success rate was 40%. Now, they still ended up being positive on offense because of that deep Jaden Reed touchdown. But usually when you're effective on well less than half of your plays, that's not a formula that correlates to success and was a large part of why they lose. Right? Similarly, they're going to need more out of Josh Jacobs too, right? Their biggest running play by far came from that long touchdown run from Jaden Reed. I'm sorry, Jaden Reed you can't count on him to print a 35-yard rushing touchdown on demand. Like everything on this offense needs to get more efficient and it needs to get more consistent. And if they can do that, Jordan Love will continue being a home run threat. He will continue to be able to make big plays, but they can't forget in light of that you have to be able to make the little plays too to set those up.
Yeah, everyone knows that we'll talk about the Packers as glowingly as any podcast really on the face of the earth when they deserve it. But at the same time, when they really should have won that Eagles game, that was a game that they could have taken advantage of very early with the 2 turnovers. They missed a 43-yarder, stalled out inside the 10-yard line a lot. You convert those field goals to touchdowns, and Green Bay's probably walking out of this game 1-0. Let alone the defense. How disappointing is it to give up? And Philadelphia does this. I think the Eagles are better at this than maybe anyone in the NFL of having long, time-consuming drives when they need it. 16 plays, 67 yards, 8 up, 7:25 on the clock. That's just the Packers defense. You got to get off the field. Got to find a way because that essentially iced it for Philadelphia. So even though there were a lot of positives for Green Bay, given the performance of the offense and the explosiveness, the defense, starting to collapse in the second half. The inconsistencies, those are some of my concerns to go on top of the Love injury. But this is very much still an big time NFC contender as long as the Love injury doesn't deflate them.